Before you invest another dollar, I want you to answer one simple question. What if I told you that the biggest mistake most investors make has nothing to do with picking the wrong stock, buying the wrong ETF, or timing the market? What if the real reason millions of people will never reach financial freedom is a single number they've never calculated? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that number is, how to calculate it in less than 5 minutes, and whether you're actually on track for retirement or years behind without even realizing it. Let's find out. Stop. Before you put another dollar into investing, I want you to do one thing first. Not buy a stock, not open a new brokerage account, not watch another video about which index fund is better. I want you to grab a calculator and work out a single number. That number is called your effective contribution rate. And there is a very high chance that once you calculate it, you are going to feel a little uneasy. Because most middle income earners who believe they are saving pretty well for their future are actually underfunding their retirement or financial independence by 2 to 3 times. Not because they are lazy, not because they are not investing, but because they have never compared how much they are actually setting aside with how much they actually need to set aside to hit their goal. Today, we are going to fix that in the next few minutes. Let's start with why this matters and why it is so counterintuitive. Most investing advice sounds like this. Start early, buy the broad market. Do not try to time entry points. Let compound interest do the work. All of that is true. But there is a hidden problem. All of that advice only works if the amount you are contributing is actually capable of getting you to your goal in the first place. Imagine you get in a car, you pick the perfect route, you drive at the optimal speed, you never break a traffic law. But your tank is only a quarter full and you need to drive 1,000 kilometers. The route is perfect, the driving is perfect, and you still will not make it. That is why I am telling you to stop investing until you do this. Not because investing is bad, but because investing without understanding your savings rate is optimizing your route while completely ignoring how much fuel you actually have. Now let's get into the math, and I promise to keep this simple, no unnecessary jargon. Your effective contribution rate is the percentage of your pre-tax income that you set aside every month or every year and actually invest toward long-term goals. Not just money sitting in a savings account, but money working for you in the market. The formula is simple. Take the amount you contribute to investments each month, add whatever your employer contributes on your behalf, if that applies, and divide that total by your gross income, meaning income before taxes. Multiply by 100 and you get your percentage. Let's walk through an example. Imagine your gross income is $6,000 a month, or whatever the equivalent is in your currency, it does not matter. You invest $400 a month into an index fund. 400 divided by 6,000 is about 6.7%. Sounds decent, right? Most people stop right there and think, I am saving money, I am doing fine, let me go figure out which ETF to buy next. But here is the trap. 6.7% on its own means absolutely nothing. It only becomes meaningful once you compare it against a benchmark, meaning how much you actually need to be saving based on your age, your goals, and when you want to reach financial freedom or retirement. And this is where it gets interesting. There is a widely accepted rule of thumb in financial planning that says if you want to retire around age 65 with a comfortable lifestyle on a normal investing timeline, you need to be saving somewhere between 15 and 20% of your gross income throughout your career, starting from a relatively young age. If you started later, say after 35, that number climbs to 25%, sometimes 30. If your goal is not just retirement but early financial independence, say you want the option to stop working by 45 or 50, that number can climb to 35, 40, even 50% of your income. Now let's go back to our example. This person is saving 6.7%, and the benchmark for their age and goals is, let's say, 18%. That is not a small gap. That is not slightly under. That is nearly 3 times less than what is needed. And this is a typical situation. Research on retirement savings across different countries shows the same pattern over and over. The median savings rate among working middle class people sits somewhere around 5 to 8% of income, while reaching a comfortable retirement under a standard scenario requires at least 15 to 20%. A 2 to 3 times gap is not the exception. It is the norm for most people who have never consciously sat down and calculated this number. Why does this happen? Why do smart, hardworking people systematically underfund their future? There are a few reasons, and it is worth naming them, because recognizing the problem is already half the solution. The first reason is what I call the illusion of action. Someone opens a brokerage account, buys a few stocks or funds, watches their portfolio grow, and their brain gets the signal. I am investing, I am doing the right thing, I am safe. But the simple act of investing says nothing about whether the amount is actually sufficient. You can invest perfectly and still end up with an insufficient amount of capital if the contribution itself was too small. The second reason is focusing on absolute numbers instead of percentages. People think, I am putting away $400 a month, that is not bad, without ever relating that number to their actual income, and more importantly, to the cost of the future life they want to fund. The third reason is lifestyle inflation. Every time income goes up, spending tends to rise proportionally or even faster, while the savings rate stays flat or even drops, because people simply carry their old savings habits over onto a much larger income. The fourth reason, and this is probably the most fundamental one, is that the financial industry, financial content, basically every video and article out there focuses on where to invest, not how much to invest. Choosing between the S&P 500 and an all-world ETF is an optimization that might get you a difference of 0.5% to 1% in annual returns. But the difference between a 7% savings rate and an 18% savings rate is the difference that determines whether you retire at all or whether you are still working at 75. Now for the most important part, how to calculate your own personal benchmark instead of just grabbing some generic number out of thin air. Your benchmark depends on 3 things: your current age, the age at which you want to hit your financial goal, and your desired standard of living at that point, expressed as a percentage of your current income. There is a simple, if somewhat simplified, way to calculate this yourself, and I am going to walk you through it step by step right now. Step 1. Determine your target capital amount. A commonly used rule says you need a capital amount equal to roughly 25 times your annual expenses in retirement, assuming you plan to withdraw around 4% of your capital per year and live off that for the rest of your life. So if you want to spend, say, $40,000 a year in retirement, you need roughly $1 million in capital. If you want a more conservative scenario to account for a longer life expectancy or to leave a buffer, you can aim for 30 to 33 times your annual expenses instead of 25. Step 2. Determine how much time you have until your goal. If you are 30 years old now and want to retire at 65, you have a 35-year horizon. If you want financial independence at 45 and you are 30 now, you only have 15 years. Step 3. Factor in your expected investment return. For a long-term, diversified stock portfolio, the historical average real return, meaning return already adjusted for inflation, is roughly 5 to 7% per year. That is not a guarantee for the future, but it is a reasonable assumption for planning purposes. Step 4, and this is the final piece of the math. Once you have your target amount, your time horizon in years, and your expected return, you can calculate exactly how much you need to invest each month to reach that goal through regular contributions and compound growth. There is a future value of an annuity formula that does exactly this, and you can easily find it through any online financial calculator. Just search for future value of regular contributions calculator or use the FV function in Excel or Google Sheets. I would genuinely recommend opening one of these calculators right now while you are watching this and plugging in your real numbers. Here is an example so you can see how dramatically the picture changes. Someone is 30 years old. Their goal is $1 million in capital by age 65, meaning a 35-year horizon with an expected real return of 6% per year. Running that calculation, the required monthly contribution to hit that goal comes out to roughly $600 a month. If this person earns $6,000 a month, $600 is exactly 10% of their income. Doesn't sound too bad, right? But if this same person had waited until age 40 to run this calculation, with only 25 years left instead of 35, the required monthly contribution does not just rise proportionally, it rises dramatically to roughly $1,300 a month, which is more than 21% of their income. A 10-year delay nearly doubles the required savings rate. That is the real cost of putting off this calculation. So now the key question: what do you do if you run the numbers and discover that your actual savings rate is 2 or 3 times lower than what you need? First of all, do not panic and do not swing to extremes. Slashing every expense to the bone overnight in order to maximize contributions usually ends in burnout and a return to old habits within a few months. Instead, there is a consistent and realistic plan of action. The first fix is to make your savings rate visible and automatic. Most people who successfully increase their savings rate do one simple thing. They set up an automatic transfer of their investment contribution on payday before that money ever lands in their regular spending budget. This is the pay yourself first principle. When money automatically moves into investments before you ever see it in your checking account, it is psychologically much easier to adjust your spending around what is left, rather than trying to find leftover money at the end of the month. The second fix is to use every raise or bonus to increase your savings rate instead of expanding your spending. A simple rule: when you get a raise, direct at least half of that raise toward additional investing, and you can allow yourself to spend the rest on improving your lifestyle. That way, your savings rate gradually climbs every year of your career, instead of staying frozen at whatever level you set back when you were just starting out. The third fix is to review this number, your effective contribution rate, at least once a year, ideally tied to a specific date, like your birthday or the start of the new year. Financial goals and income change, and a number that was correct 2 years ago might already be outdated. The fourth fix, and this one is probably the most important psychologically, is to stop confusing activity with progress. Checking stock prices every day, reading market news, trying to guess the perfect entry point. All of that creates a feeling of control and engagement, but it has almost zero impact on the single biggest factor in your financial success, which is your savings rate. Behavioral finance research consistently shows that the main drivers of your final outcome are the size of your regular contributions and the length of your investing horizon. While picking specific stocks or trying to time the market contributes far less to the final result than people assume. And one last thing before you go: calculate your number. The point of this video is not to scare you, and it is not to make you feel bad if you have been under-saving for years. The point is to give you a tool that most people never consciously use. Knowing your real savings percentage and honestly comparing it to what you actually need is the single most powerful financial tool you have, far more powerful than picking any specific asset or strategy. Because that one number determines whether you reach your destination at all, no matter how well you chose the route. So here is your homework, and I want you to do it right now while this is still fresh. Open a calculator. Work out your gross monthly income. Work out the amount you're actually investing each month. including any employer contributions if you have them. Divide one by the other, multiply by 100. That is your current effective contribution rate. Then define your target. When do you want to reach financial independence or retirement? And how much money per year will you need at that point to live comfortably? Calculate the required monthly contribution using a financial calculator or the future value function in a spreadsheet. Compare the two numbers. If your actual savings rate is lower than what is required, and for most people it is, you now have a clear plan. Automate your contributions, put part of every raise toward investing, review this number every year, and stop mistaking market activity for actual progress toward your goal. Investing without doing this calculation is like running a marathon without knowing the distance. You can run with perfect technique, at the perfect pace, in the best shoes, and still never reach the finish line if you do not understand how many kilometers are ahead of you. If there's only one thing you remember from this video, let it be this. Your future isn't determined by finding the perfect investment. It's determined by knowing whether you're investing enough. So don't close this video and tell yourself you'll calculate it later. Open a calculator right now. Find your real contribution rate. Compare it to your goal, because 5 minutes today could completely change the next 30 years of your financial life. If this video saved you from making one of the biggest investing mistakes, subscribe to Wolf Accumulate. Every week, we break down the financial principles that actually build wealth. Without hype, without guesswork, just practical strategies that work. And now I have one question for you. What's your current contribution rate? Let me know in the comments.